Okay, so we are looking for an answer choice that conflicts with what the letter said, right? This person said that the newspaper exhibited an unjustified bias. Why was this bias unjustified? Yeah?
Because he's usually a reliable source.
He's usually a reliable source, right? And if it had been a meteor, you wouldn't have been skeptical. That's absurd. Meteors are possible, aliens are not. So, at least in theory. The argument in the letter conflicts with underlying principles. What we're debating? B. One should be skeptical of claims that are based upon testimonial evidence that is acquired only through an intermediary source. Wait, hold on. This is saying you should be skeptical only through an intermediary source. So in other circumstances, you shouldn't be skeptical, right? Was this through an
what I was trying to
do with this?
Or, yeah.
Okay, so this person, what does this person think? Does this person think that the newspaper should be skeptical or not skeptical?
This person thinks that they should not be skeptical.
They should not be skeptical. And so we're looking for something that
should be skeptical.
conflicts with that and says they should be skeptical.
So that's why I picked that answer, because it should be
Yeah, but see, this answer by actually saying only says, hey, you should be skeptical only in these circumstances, means you should not be skeptical in other circumstances, in all other circumstances. So the question is, does this circumstance apply? When it says testimonial evidence that is acquired only through an intermediary source, I think it's a direct source, right?
I thought that
He says he saw an alien spaceship.
I thought that guy was the intermediary.
You thought he was the intermediary source. No. So notice what we're being skeptical of. Skeptical of claims that are based upon testimonial evidence that is acquired only through an intermediary source. Those claims are actually based on testimonial evidence of the direct source. I think it's just that intermediary thing that comes at the end. So then we're like, oh, it doesn't apply here, which means they should not be skeptical.
I mean, I thought that only was a little bit harsh, but I said it anyway because it was only one that said that you should be skeptical, which
Yeah.
I was over this question.
Yeah. So oddly enough, it's actually saying you should not be skeptical in all other circumstances, which unfortunately applies here. Answer choice A, if a claim is extraordinary, is it extraordinary? Yes. It should not be presented uncritically. In other words, it should be presented critically with skepticism, unless it is backed by evidence of an extraordinarily high standard, which it was not here, so this exception does not apply, right?
There was so many back and forth.
Yeah, they were just jerks with this. Yeah, they were jerks. They did a double negative, right? Should not be presented uncritically. And you're trying to find the thing that's violating that. You're like, wait, what? Yeah. It should not be presented uncritically just means it should be presented critically. That goes against what this person was saying because he was saying it shouldn't be presented critically. Ugh. Sound good? Rachel, did you pick A?
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other answers that were tempting here?
Just a question about, so like I wrote A mostly because all the other answers were bad, but when they say of an extraordinarily high standard, like there's nothing to indicate that this is not, or what else would be, so like that sort of.
Well, I thought to myself, oh, this is not of an extraordinarily high standard, so this exception doesn't apply, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is no indication that it was extraordinarily high, right? It's just his testimony.
But there also doesn't say that there wasn't extraordinarily high evidence.
That it wasn't not extraordinarily high?
Yeah, that they didn't present extraordinarily high evidence. Like it doesn't negate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The passage never says.
So yeah, we have to say, hey, was it extraordinarily high? We don't know. We have to make the assumption that it wasn't.
The other answers hadn't been.
Yeah, the other answers.
I would have thought it over.
Well, it would just be iffy, right? Because you'd have to make the assumption that it was not extraordinarily high. I don't know if it's totally unreasonable though.
No, it's not unreasonable, but.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a point of weakness. Yeah.